All right, so go ahead and get yourself into a comfortable seat, whatever that means. If you don't want to stack your legs on top of each other, you can certainly place one in front of the other. You can lay on your back if that's more comfortable. You can sit on your shins. But once you've found a comfortable seat, go ahead and close your eyes or lower your gaze. And see if you can just let everything melt away. Anything that happened before this, anything that's happening after this, just let them all disappear. Bring your attention inward. Go ahead and do a quick body scan, starting with the tips of your toes, across your feet, up your shins and down your thighs, through your hips, stomach, back, chest, shoulders, and arms, hands and fingers, your neck, your jaw, and your skull. And just see if you can find some place that's maybe a little bit more sore or a little bit more stuck. Some place you want to spend a little bit more of your attention on today. You can find space in your spine here by pulling up on a thread through the top of your skull. Inhale into each vertebrae, find space in between each one. Relax your shoulders down your back. You can bring your attention to your breath. Start by noticing your breath, no reason to judge or change it. And just inhale and exhale and discover where in your lungs your breath is. Are you breathing into your chest? Are you breathing all the way down into your diaphragm? Can you increase the level of air that is getting into your lungs? Can you inhale and feel the front and the back of the ribs expanding with the lungs? Can you inhale and feel the diaphragm? Each exhale, can you feel your lungs emptying out completely? Feel the chest compressing down with each exhale. Can you imagine a white light coming in through your nostrils with each inhale, expanding throughout your body, reaching to the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes, and exhaling anything in those areas that you want to get rid of. Oh, When you're ready, we'll just gently open our eyes or look or raise our gaze. If you'd like, you can switch the crossing of your legs. Have the opposite one out in front. We'll start just by shining the chest forward. We're going to place the thumbs pointing towards the front of the room and the fingertips towards the back. Pressing your weight into those fingertips, feeling support beneath you, and just shine that chest forward. You can feel your shoulder blades almost touching behind you, like you're trying to hold a piece of paper between them. And then from here, open up that space between the shoulder blades. Let your arms come forward. And then see if you can open that area between the shoulder blades nice and wide. Your hands can come together in front of you if you'd like. You can lower your gaze or drop your chin towards your chest. Then we're going to shine that chest forward again. This time I want to keep that chest shining forward, but we're going to fold forward so that you're hinging at your hips and not rounding in the spine. And then when you're ready, you can release and fold forward, rolling all the way down, releasing the back of your neck. Nod your head yes, shake your head no, move your head I don't know. Open and close your jaw, release any tension you may have there. And on your next inhale, you can gently roll back up to a seated position. From here, we're going to extend the knees out front, give your legs a little shake, and we're going to come into a twist. Bring one leg over, hugging that knee into the chest nice and tight. See if you can center that knee in your chest. You're not pulling it over to the same side, you're pulling it to the center. Placing that foot on the opposite outside of the opposite leg. We're going to hook that opposite arm on the elbow and then twist to the back of the room. Inhaling for a nice long spine, exhaling to twist. Inhale, long spine, exhale, twist. See if you can press your sit bones in the ground. See if you can find a little bit more space in between your hip and your twist. And on your next exhale, you can go ahead and give a little counter twist to the other side. Come to the center and switch the crossing of the legs. Again, holding that knee in towards the center of the body. Flexing that foot in front. Lifting the opposite arm into the air. And then hooking that elbow and twisting to the back of the room. Inhaling for a nice long spine. And exhaling to twist. Inhaling for a long spine, exhaling to twist. One nice long inhale, and then exhaling to twist to the back of the room. On your next inhale, take a nice little counter twist to the opposite side, and then come back to center. You can bend your knees again, whatever formation you'd like. And we're going to start by just shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears and releasing them down. Shrugging them up and releasing them down. Do a couple of these. And then maybe turn those shrugs into circles, really rounding forward and then making sure we go both directions. Rounding forward and back. And then let's go ahead and interlace the fingers and do a nice little wave through the wrists. And then you can do that circle thing that always hurts my wrists a bunch. Make sure you go both directions here. Releasing your arms to either side. We're going to lift the arms into the air, release the shoulders down, make a nice straight arm here, and take those fingers and spread them out in all directions. Check in with your ribs. Mine are popping out. Go ahead and tuck them back in. If you tuck your ribs in, your arms may come forwards. Just go ahead and push them back up. Really feel that stretch in your arm here. Nice deep breath, reaching towards the sky. We're going to exhale down to one side, reaching the opposite arm overhead. Thumb reaches towards the back of the room. chest shines towards the ceiling here. Exhaling to come down on that elbow if you'd like. From here, we'll go ahead and actually come back up off the elbow and we'll do our forward folds, bringing that shoulder to the knee. Inhaling to rise, exhaling to fold. Inhaling to rise, exhaling to fold. One more time, inhaling to rise and exhaling to fold. Inhaling back up, and we'll just breathe back into the center. Again, tucking those ribs in, shrugging those shoulders down, exhaling the opposite arm to the other side. Thumb points towards the back of the room, chest shines towards the ceiling, reaching that arm over top. Option to drop down to that elbow if both sit bones stay planted on the mat. Breathing here, finding space in your hip, finding space in between the ribs. Inhaling back up to the hand, and we'll do a few forward folds, reaching that shoulder towards your knee. Exhaling out to fold forward and inhaling back up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling back up. We'll do one more like that. Exhaling down. Inhaling back up. Again, you can bring both arms to reach above your head. Tuck those ribs back in. Melt your shoulder blades down your back. Can you find space in between your shoulders by maybe rotating your arms back and forth here? We're going to press the arms down like we're pressing the walls away from us on either side. If you can't flex your hands here, you're more than welcome to make fists or bend your fingers. And we'll just do simple internal and external rotations from the shoulder. Will help you in down dog. Just try to externally and internally rotate the arms there. And when you've had enough of that, we're going to inhale them back up. Choose one arm to bend the elbow and place the hand on top of. Nice gentle stretch here. The weight of your hand is all you need on the elbow. If you'd like to come into the bind, you can always windmill that arm back around. You can grab onto your shirt, bra strap, hand, whatever you can reach. I can reach my hands this way, but I cannot reach on the other side. Breathing here, checking in with those ribs, make sure they're not popping out. Release any bind you may have. Bring both arms back up to the air, melting the shoulders down the back. We're going to bend the opposite elbow and place the hand on the elbow. The weight of the hand is enough, but if you'd like, you can windmill your arm over and come back behind you to reach up for the bind. Again, my arm doesn't actually reach here, so I'm just grabbing onto my t-shirt. I can feel the stretch right here in the top of my arm, where it won't release to actually reach. And you can release your arm, come back up, release those shoulders down your back, and we'll release the hands to either side. Give your shoulders a quick little shake back and forth, and we'll come to our tabletop pose at the center of the mat. Shoulders are above elbows, above wrists. Tops of the feet and shins are glued to the mat. From here, if I came up on the pads of my fingertips and pressed all my weight into those pads and then let my palms come down, I could have a much stronger grip on the mat. You can lift those toes into the air and glue them back down, maybe grip onto them there. And let's go through a few rounds of cat-cow. Dropping those udders down, breathing in nice and deep. You can take a few breaths here in cow. Really feeling that those low ribs stretch. And then on your next exhale, round that spine. Bring that belly button towards the back. Come up onto those tented fingertips. Option 2, tuck your toes under here and come into cat pose. On your next inhale, back to the tops of the feet and the palms, reaching that chest forward, shining it towards the ceiling. Exhaling for cow. Nope, sorry, cat pose. Rounding in the back, tucking the toes under, coming up on the tips of the fingers. When you're in your cat pose, fingertips pressing into the mat, can you feel that internal and external rotation of your shoulders here? Maybe just moving those elbows internally and externally back and forth. And then inhale, coming into cow pose. You can go ahead and take these movements at your own pace and your own breath. Just waking up the spine here. You can introduce S and C curves into the spine if you'd like. You can work on tilting and tucking the pelvis here. You can use your spine as a jump rope or do some mini chaturangas. When you've had enough of that, you come back to stillness. After you've come to stillness, you have a nice neutral spine here. You can reach for a block or a ball, or just keep a nice right angle in your leg. Grab onto the left leg, flex that left foot, and just lift the left leg into the air. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale for 2. Exhale down. Inhale for 3. Exhale down. Sorry, Trey. Inhale for 4. Exhale down. Inhaling for 5. Stay at the top at 5 and do bounce for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping this leg back down onto the mat. We're going to lift it to the side for fire hydrants. Inhaling for 1. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 2. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 4. Exhaling down. Inhaling for 5. Staying at the top of 5 and bouncing for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling back down. Stretching that foot back behind you. You can point your toe. And when you're ready, you can lift for 5. Exhale down, lift for 4, exhaling down. Lifting for 3, exhaling down, lifting for 2, exhaling down, and lifting for 1. Staying up there at 1 and bouncing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling that leg back down. Switching to the right leg. Grabbing a block or ball or just flexing your foot and keeping your leg at a right angle. We're going to do 5 leg lifts. Inhaling for 5, exhaling down. Inhaling for 4, exhaling down. Inhaling for 3, exhaling down. Inhaling for 2, exhaling down. And inhaling for 1. Stay at the top here and bounce for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling down, we're going to do fire hydrants, lifting that leg out for 5. Exhaling down. 4. Exhaling down. 3. Exhaling down. 2. Exhaling down. And 1. Stay at the top at 1 and bouncing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling back down. Releasing that leg back straight behind you, pointing that toe. And getting ready for 5 leg lifts. Inhaling for 5, exhaling down. Inhaling for 4, exhaling down. Inhaling for 3, exhaling down. Inhaling for 2, exhaling down. Inhaling for 1, exhaling down. Inhaling at the top, sorry, and bouncing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling back down to your cat-cow pose. Do a couple of pelvis tilts and tucks here. waking up those hips. And when you're ready, you can press those fingertips into the ground. You can tuck those back toes under and you can press back into your downward facing dog. You can go ahead and pedal out your feet in down dog. Your feet can be as wide apart as you'd like or as close together as you'd like. You work on that external rotation in your shoulders. Can you feel space between your shoulder blades here? If you're pedaling out through the feet here, go ahead and lift those heels into the air and then exhale to reach them back down to the mat. On your next inhale, we're going to roll forward to plank pose. From here, we'll drop the right knee down, swing that left foot over, and just lift the left arm up for a nice gentle twist. And then exhaling that hand back down, pressing back to your downward facing dog. We're going to roll forward to plank again. This time dropping the left leg down, swinging that opposite hand or leg out, and lifting that right hand into the air. Breathing here for a nice gentle twist. Exhaling that hand back down, pressing back to downward facing dog. This time rolling forward to plank. Option here to lift one arm and come into a side plank. Option to stack the feet here if you'd like. Exhaling back down to your plank pose, pressing back to downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank again, and then opening up for your side plank. Exhaling that hand back to your plank pose, pressing back to a downward facing dog. Wiggling out through the hips here. Nod your head yes, shake your head no, move your head I don't know. Release any tension in your glutes or jaw. And we'll just lift the right leg into the air for three-legged dog. I'll open the hips here. Option to drop that back leg behind you. Top leg behind you to come into rock star pose. On your next exhale, you can come back to your three-legged dog and place your foot back down to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the opposite leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Open those hips up. Option to drop that top leg down if you'd like to open up for rock star pose. On your next exhale, you can bring your leg back down to the mat, come into downward facing dog, and gently step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. So your first forward fold, your knees can be bent as deeply or as shallowly as you'd like. Take this thing. Can you check in with the bottoms of your feet? Can you make sure you're not falling in on those arches? You're supported by all four corners of the feet. Your arms can drop in front of you. You can grab opposite elbows if you'd like and sway back and forth. Your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward, and then inhale, gently rolling up to stand so that each vertebrae is placed on top of the previous. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat, feeling all four corners of the feet nice and secure, pressing into the ground, lifting into the chest. Raise your arms in the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Check in with those ribs. You can go ahead and fold them back in. This time we fold forward. Imagine there's a clothesline at your midsection and you're draping yourself over the clothesline. The top of your skull is dripping down into the mat. The bottoms of your feet are strong and rooted down into the ground. From here, you can plant your hands and step back so you're in a plank pose. Breathing here in plank, pressing that ground away from you. On your next exhale, go ahead and press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, you can lift your right leg into the air for a three-legged dog. Exhale to bend the knee, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. We're just gonna feel what it's like to be in a nice low lunge here. We're gonna drop that back knee, bring the top of the foot onto the mat. Feel like you're pulling this heel towards your knee, creating a lot of strength in your foundation and lifting up, shining that chest to the sky and gazing at your thumbs for a gentle back. Exhaling to frame that front foot, tucking those back toes under and kicking that back foot up about 12 to 18 inches so that both heels are on the mat. From here, bring those front hips backward in space and see if you can reach your forehead towards your shin. On your next inhale, we'll kick both feet back to your back in your downward facing dog. From here, we'll roll forward to plank, lower your knees, chest and chin into the mat. Lift for a low cobra upward facing dog and press back to your down. On your next inhale, lift the left leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knees, swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. Get nice and comfy in your low lunge here. Drop that back knee down. Feel your heel reaching towards your knee. A lot of tension and pressure there to make a nice strong foundation. You can press up into the air with. Gaze at those thumbs for a gentle back bend. Breathe here. Exhale to frame that front foot with your hands. We're going to tuck those back toes under, kick that back foot forward about 12 to 18 inches so that both heels are on the mat. We're going to take this hip, move it back a little bit in space, and reach that forehead towards the shin. On your next exhale, you can kick both feet back so you're in a plank pose. Go ahead and lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra upward facing dog, and then press back to your downward facing. Step to the front of the mat so that you are in a forward fold. On your next inhale, place hands on shins for a nice long flat back. And then exhale to fold forward. Then we'll inhale to gently roll up to stand. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhaling the arms above the head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Go through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward and inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Releasing your hands by either side, feet are pressing into the ground. Inhale your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Run through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog and press back to down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. From here, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward and inhale to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Feeling nice and strong. Pressing against the feet, pressing them into the ground. Lifting the arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward, Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands and step back to plank pose. Go through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog. Press back to down dog. Taking a nice deep breath in downward facing dog. When you're ready, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward and inhale to gently roll up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat, shaking everything out. Inhale, arms above the head. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Go through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog, pressing back to a down. Deep breath in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can gently roll up to stand. Releasing your arms to the side and standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Feeling all four corners of the bottom of the feet not falling into those arches. Inhale your arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Go through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And pressing back to a down. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And then inhale to gently roll up to stand. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Arms are at your side. Inhale your arms above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward. No, don't do that. Exhale, lift your arms into the air. At this time, if you'd like to heel toe your feet together for chair pose, you certainly can. If not, you can keep them wide. Then we're gonna bend the knees, bring the bum down, and bring the arms forward. The only way I can do this properly is my heels come up. On your next exhale, we're going to fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin, or run through your vinyasa. Inhale to a low cobra, upward facing dog, and press back to down dog. Taking a deep breath in downward facing dog, exhaling it all out. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing the foot forward. Help it if you need to. You're going to lower that back heel down. Get a nice right angle in that front knee. And when you're ready, we'll press the ground away and come up into a warrior one. Nice right angle, as close as you can get in that front leg. Back outer edge of that foot is glued to the mat. And make sure you're not blocking this back leg. Breathing here. On your next exhale, you can release your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers behind your back, and bring your shoulder down to your knee. And on your next inhale, we'll lift back into the air and give that thigh a little rest if you want. We'll come back into warrior one. And then exhale down to frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back, so you're in downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank pose. Running through your vinyasa or lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or an upward facing dog. Pressing back to down. Nice deep breath in down dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. We're gonna rotate that back heel down. Make sure you're not blocking this back knee. We're gonna press the ground away, come up into warrior one. Front knee is at close to right angle as possible. Arms are in the air, hips are facing forward. On your next exhale, you can release your hands back behind your back, weird thumb on top this time. Shine that chest forward towards the ceiling, and then exhale back down for forward. And inhaling all the way back up to warrior one. Exhaling to frame that front foot. Get that front foot back to meet the back, so you're in downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, running through your vinyasa or lowering your knees. Chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for low cobra, upward facing dog. And then pressing back to down dog. Nice deep breath in downward facing dog. And on your next exhale, you can pause or step forward. So you're in a forward folded. From here on your next inhale, you can gently roll up to a standing pose at the front of the mat. Okay, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Arms are released down by the sides. Inhale your arms into the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, come into your chair pose, whatever that means to you. Nice deep breath here. And on your exhale, we'll fold forward. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back to a down dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that leg forward, help it if you need to. Lower that back heel down. This time we're going to windmill the arms up to warrior two. Again, try not to lock that back knee. Front knee is bent as much as you can at a 90-degree angle. Arms are reaching out in either direction, straight from the shoulders. We're going to bring that front palm up into the air, move it forward, and then back to reverse your warrior. On your next inhale, we're going to straighten up that leg. Exhale, forward and down for triangle pose. Your next inhale, we'll come back to our warrior two, and then exhale down to side angle pose. On your next exhale, we're going to windmill the arms down, kick that front foot back to meet the back, pressing back to downward facing dog, rolling forward to plank, run through your vinyasa or lower knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to a down dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down, and then windmill the arms up for warrior two. Opening the hips to the side, make sure you're not putting any, make sure you're not locking that back leg. From here, we're going to take the palm, point it towards the sky, reach forward, and then back to reverse your warrior. And your next inhale will straighten up that leg, reach forward and down for triangle pose. On your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior two and exhale that forearm down for side angle pose. On your next exhale, you can windmill your arms down and kick that foot back to meet the back for downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank and exhaling your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra upward facing dog, and then pressing back to down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to your forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can gently roll up to stand. placing each vertebrae on top of the previous one. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat, release your arms either side. And give your hips a nice little shake out. You can tilt and tuck your hips a couple times. And when you're ready, we'll lift the arms into the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, coming into your chair pose. We're going to bring the hands to heart center. We're going to take the right elbow outside the left knee and come into a chair pose twist. On your next inhale, we'll go back to center and exhale down to the other side. Placing the opposite elbow against the knee and coming into a chair pose twist. On your next exhale, come back to your chair pose, fall back to a forward fold. Place your hands and we'll step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to press back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward, but if you need to, rotate that back heel down, and we're going to press up into our warrior one. We're going to exhale into our humble warrior. Inhale back up to warrior one. Exhale out to warrior two. Inhale your hand forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Exhale down to triangle pose. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale down to side angle. From here, we'll rotate our hands down to frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank pose, lowering your knees. Chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for low cobra or upward facing dog. And then pressing back to down dog. On your next inhale, you can lift the left leg up for a three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. And then inhale your arms up for warrior one. Exhale your arms behind you for humble warrior. Inhale your arms up for warrior one. Exhale your arms out for warrior two. Give your knee, let's inhale your palm up and then back. Reverse your warrior. Exhale your knee arrest and come down. Triangle pose. Inhale back up for warrior two. And exhale down for side angle. Rotate your arms down to frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back. Downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees. Chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And pressing back to down dog. Breathing in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. From here, you can gently roll up, stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. All right, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Checking in with all four corners of the feet, all feel supported by the ground. You're going to inhale the arms above your head for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, come into chair pose. Nice deep breath in chair. Exhale to fold forward. Plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog. And press back to down dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. From here, we're going to inhale up into warrior one. Exhale down into humble warrior. Inhale up into warrior one. Exhale out to warrior two. Inhale forward and back to reverse your warrior. Exhale forward and down for triangle pose. Inhale up for warrior two and exhale down for side angle pose. From here, we'll windmill the arms down so we're in a wide-legged forward fold to the side of the mat. Gonna walk those fingertips behind you. Again, to get a nice deeper stretch. Check in with both those knees. Make sure you're not locking them. You have a gentle bend. Then we're going to gently walk those fingertips forward so we're in a wide-legged flat back. And then from here, we're just going to heel toe the feet together just enough so that we're in a nice wide squat. Squat can be anything where your heels are still on the mat. I'm working on my Asian squat. It's coming. On your next exhale, we'll fold forward, walk those fingertips around so we somehow come back to our downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and then press back to down dog. Breathing in down dog. I'm gonna lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. We're gonna rotate that back heel down. Inhaling up for warrior one. Exhaling down for humble warrior, weird thumb on top. Inhaling up for warrior one. Exhaling out, for warrior two. Inhaling palm forward and back to reverse your warrior. Inhale here, loosen that front knee. Exhale forward and down for triangle pose. Inhaling up for warrior two. And exhaling down for side angle pose. From here, we'll windmill the arms forward and come into our wide-legged forward fold again. This time you can heel toe the feet together as close as you want and come into any sort of squat you want. Heels can be off the mat, they can be on the mat. Make sure you're not dumping in your squat. You can come out of your hips here. Make sure you have a nice long spine. And you're pressing those elbows against the knees. And if you fall out of it, just come back in, no big deal. From here, we'll place one hand on the mat, lifting the other into the air. And exhaling, swap the arms. And exhale back down. Press that bum back into the air and work your arms around to get back into your downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, pressing back to down dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. And on your next inhale, you can gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. Into a nice, comfortable mountain pose here. Your feet can be hips width distance apart or further. They can be closer together. I just want to do a couple of tilts and tucks with the pelvis. And then a few side to side. You can get your knees involved if you'd like, or you can just move the hips back and forth. You can make it a dramatic movement if maybe your hips are a little sore and you want to feel the stretch in each one of them, or a nice gentle movement. When you feel like you've hit all points, all 4 points of our diamond, we're going to go ahead and tuck that pelvis under, move it to the right side, tilt it back, move to the left, tuck it under. Continue this diamond shape in this direction until you feel like you can really smooth it out. So you're almost like a spatula getting batter out of the sides of a bowl. And be sure to go in both directions. You can work on making the movement large or small. And when you're ready to come back to stillness, we'll just do a few more tilts and tucks of the pelvis. Might feel nice to have your hands on your hip bones as you tilt and tuck. Make sure you're not squeezing your glutes together as you tuck that pelvis under. You're just moving the bones. Glutes are nice and relaxed. And then when you've had enough of that, you can give your hips a little shake back and forth. We'll come back to our mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhaling nice and big here. Exhaling down. We're going to come into our balancing poses. So whatever that means to you, I'm going to go ahead and come into a tree pose. It can be ankle, heel to the ankle, foot on the calf, or pressing the heel into the inner thigh, as long as the foot and knee do not come in contact with each other. Hands can be at your hips, branches blowing in the breeze. You can be heart center, whatever you feel. If you have trouble balancing, pick a stationary point on the wall to stare at. Should help you. And if you fall out of it, just come right back in. And when you're ready, you can remove that foot from your leg. Bring that knee forward, straighten that leg out, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little higher, and let it go. You can give your standing leg a little massage on that outer muscle there. And we'll switch legs, bringing all 4 corners of this foot to the mat, kickstanding either that ankle to the leg, the foot against the calf, or bringing that heel into the inner thigh. Side might be different. All right. As long as the feet and the knees do not make contact, hands can be on your hips at heart center or branches blowing in the breeze. And when you're ready, you can remove your leg from your other leg, your foot from your leg. Reach that foot out in front of you. Reach a little higher, maybe a little higher, maybe a little higher, and then let it go. Give that standing leg a little massage. And we'll come right back into mountain pose at the front of the mat. Breathing here. Shh, no. We're going to lift our hands into the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Going through your vinyasa or lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to down dog. Lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing the shin forward, set up for pigeon pose. Make sure your leg is nice and straight back behind you. Your hip can come in line with your heel. You can lift your chest into the air and exhale forward for pigeon pose. On your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. You can come into a tabletop pose. Give your hips a little shake back and forth. And then tuck your toes under and come back into downward facing dog. Lifting that left leg into the air this time. Exhaling to bring that shin forward. Again, lining that leg straight back behind you. Putting your hip in line with your heel. And bringing your head, neck, and chest forward for pigeon pose. On your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Work your way into a tabletop pose. Give your hips a little shake back and forth. Press yourself into a plank pose and then lower down to the mat. We'll go ahead and roll onto our backs. And you can start by just windshield wipering out those knees back and forth. Keep your feet about as wide as the mat and come into a nice dramatic windshield wiper. Then hug those knees into the chest nice and tight, and you can rock back and forth or maybe roll forward and back. Give yourself a nice little low back massage by making circles with the knees. Make sure you go in both directions. From here, we'll go into an inversion, whatever that means to you. It can be something as simple as legs up the wall, which I think I'm going to do. Or you can place a block underneath your sacrum or lift your legs into the air and support your back with a supported shoulder stand, whatever you prefer. And just breathe here with your feet above your heart. When you've had enough of that, you can gently release your legs back down to the mat. We'll come back to laying on our backs. Again, placing those feet on the mat and windshield wipering the knees back and forth. Place those heels so you can just about graze them with the tops of your fingers. And we'll come into 3 active bridge poses. You can start with just a gentle tuck and tilt of your pelvis, tucking that tailbone under, lifting the hips into the air, and reaching that chest towards the chin. Option to interlace the hands behind the back and wiggle those shoulder blades underneath you. 3 to 5 good breaths here. You can release your hands, release your shoulders, release your spine back down to the mat. Windshield wiper those knees back and forth. And when you're ready, you can tuck that tailbone under, lift those hips into the air again. Reach that chest towards the chin. Option to interlace the fingers behind the back and bring those shoulder blades underneath you. 3 to 5 good breaths here. Release your hands, release your shoulders, release your spine back down to the mat. Windshield wiper your knees back and forth here. And when you're ready, you can tuck that tailbone under, lift the hips into the air, reach that chin towards the chest, interlace the hands behind you, and fold your shoulder blades underneath. 3 to 5 good breaths here. You can release your hands, release your shoulder blades, release your spine back down to the mat. You can windshield wiper your knees back and forth. And when you're ready, you can hug those knees into your chest nice and tight. We'll drop the left leg down to the mat. Make sure your foot is on the mat. We're going to take the right ankle and place it on the left knee. And we'll lift that left leg into the air again. Nice right angle in the knee. Both feet are flexed here. If you're happy here, you can stay. If you'd like to interlace your hands behind your thigh and pull your legs towards you, you certainly can. If you're happy here, you can certainly stay here. If you'd like to press that right knee away from you with the right elbow, you're more than welcome to. And then if you still can't find a spot that you need to stretch here, you can always just kind of rotate back and forth and try to find a spot that's maybe a little bit more sore, maybe a little bit more stuck, maybe a spot that needs your breath. And when you can find that spot, just stay there for a few minutes, breathing into it nice and deeply. Release your glutes, release your jaw. Make sure you're not holding any tension anywhere. Release your hands wherever you are. We're going to straighten up that left leg. We're going to grab the right leg like it's a baby, placing both arms around. Your left leg, you can go ahead and play with pointing your toe and flexing the feet a couple times here. And then if you'd like to kind of rotate that hip in the socket a few times, that might feel nice. But eventually we're going to point the toe and release it down. Just let it relax while you're holding this other leg nice and tight to your body. We're going to take the same arm as hand and grab the outside of the leg, possibly the foot or the ankle or the thigh, wherever you're most comfortable. We're just gonna drag that leg out to the side. Maybe you unbend the leg if you've got to hold the knee or the ankle. You just hold it out to the side. Both hips are still on the mat. And just holding this leg out to the opposite, the same side as leg. And then if you'd like to pass that foot over to your other hand and just bring that leg across, nice and gentle. Again, both hips are on the mat at this point. You can even hook your thumb on your hip to give yourself a little bit more space there. It's okay if it floats up. You can tell mine's floating up, but I'm not rolling all the way over. Feeling a stretch in the back of the thigh here, maybe in the sit bones. Now we're gonna pass that foot to the same hand as foot. You can grab onto the ankle or the thigh this time. We're just gonna let it come all the way out. Knee can be completely unbent. You can let the foot touch the ground if you'd like. When you're ready, we're gonna lift it to the other side and just let it. Grab it in that left hand and then ease it down. Again, all the hips can come up this time. Both my hips, one of my hips is off the ground. Both of my. And then bringing that leg back to the center. We'll hug that knee into the chest nice and tight. Bringing that other leg in nice and tight. Then we're going to drop that right foot down to the mat and place that left ankle over the right foot. Lifting that right foot into the air, flexing both feet here. You're fine here, you can stay. If not, you can interlace your hands behind your thigh and bring your legs forward. If you're happy here, you can stay. If not, you can place your left elbow on your left knee and press the left knee away from you as you pull the right thigh toward you. You still haven't found a spot that you'd like to stretch here, you can just rock back and forth, a little rolling on your sacrum until you can find some spot that's maybe a little bit more stuck, a little bit more sore, maybe needs a little bit more breath. Again, your glutes are relaxed here, your shoulder blades are relaxed. You're not holding any tension in your jaw. Straightening that right leg into the air. We're going to grab the left leg like a baby. You can work on pointing the toe and flexing the foot here. You can also internally and externally rotate that leg in the hip socket if that feels nice for you. Eventually, we're going to point the toe and release the leg down. Continuing to hold that left leg like a baby, nice and close to your chest. You're going to take that left hand and grab the outside of the foot or the ankle. And we're just going to bring the leg out to the side. Knee can still be bent, it can be straight. We're just keeping both hips on the mat here and opening up the leg. Passing that left foot to your right leg, we're going to bring that left foot over to the right side. Again, both hips are on the mat. If your hip is floating, if your sit bones and your hips floating off the mat, no big deal. We're just not going all the way over you. Feeling a stretch maybe in your sit bones, maybe the back of the thigh. Then we're going to pass that foot back into that left hand. Maybe you want to grab maybe to the thigh this time because we're going to open the leg out all the way to the side. And we'll lift that leg up. Go ahead and pass it to your other hand. Bring it all the way down, lifting that hip off the mat, reaching that leg to the opposite side. Inhaling this leg back up, hugging it into your knee, into your chest, sorry, nice and tight. You're gonna bring both legs into your chest. Just rock back and forth, giving yourself a nice slow back massage. Hug those knees into the chest nice and tight. And we're just going to gently drop to one side, coming into our gentle twist. Your arms can be cartoon cactuses. They can be straight out. You can have one hand on your knees to help you twist. Your gaze can be towards the ceiling or over the opposite shoulder. Opposite shoulder can get a little intense, so I recommend staring at the ceiling. Both shoulders should be reaching towards the mat if they aren't on the mat. You can imagine I have my thumb as a hook pulling this hip backwards in space so that your hips are stacked on top of each other. Your next inhale, you can bring those knees into the chest again, and we'll exhale them down to the other side. Again, arms can be in cartoon cactus arms. You can have them straight out to the side. You can have one hand on your knees to help your twist. And see if you can pull that hip back in space, really getting your both hips stacked one on top of each other. Your gaze can be towards the opposite fingers or the ceiling. On your next inhale, you can bring those legs back to center, hug those knees into your chest nice and tight. I'll reach for the insoles of the feet to come into a happy baby. You can rock back and forth in your happy baby. You can work on maybe straightening out one leg at a time, reaching those knees towards your armpits, or just relaxing. When you're ready, you can release your feet from your hands. You can let everything around you go as you come into your final resting pose, whatever that means to you. Let all your hard work sink into your muscles and And start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Make small movements in your fingers and toes. Using nice slow quality of movement, you can roll onto one side. Using your arm as a pillow, take one breath in the fetal position. Using that same slow quality of movement, you can come up to a comfortable sleep. We'll close with one Om. Before we do that, go ahead and thank yourself for coming to yoga and doing something for yourself. Thank you. And we'll bring hands to heart center. Inhale for Om. Om. Namaste.